Hello there, my name is Jordan. Good evening, good day, good afternoon to wherever you are. We are a bit scuffed because unlike before, I'll be the one who's streaming. So it's been a long time since I started, and it's been a while since I was the one who's streaming. And just like any other press conference, you already had someone shoot someone else. The press conference will start in 2 minutes. So before that, I'll just reminisce. So 1950s administration has been, in my own words, monumental. Not only because, well, I think it's simply put, press conferences such as this was instrumental into the founding of TPA News. Without this, without these press conferences like this, I think you think TPA News would not exist. So it's simple as that. Uh, Sorry about for the pauses. I'm just like I'm kind of. It's been a new. As I explained earlier, I just started streaming on my own PC, so everything is all messed up. Everything is unconfigured. The press conference will start soon, but I'll continue to talk. 1950s administration has been monumental, not only to TPA News's founding, but also, I think, in my opinion, I think this administration is for the lack of better words, reflection of the Trolligarch wave. And I'll be reading from what John said, our press advisor. Settle down and welcome to the last press conference of the 1950 Minecrafter administration. It has been a fun ride, and I'm glad I could serve this administration. Now I give you the President of the Commonwealth of Redmont, 1950 Minecrafter. Thank you, Jordan. So again, I just got this document from 1950 himself. To just skim over the policies he has completed. I think he will skim over this and will release a formal letter or report about it. But I'll just gonna grouse over it. From the President, 1950, I also think it has been a great having you as President Advisor, John. Thank you for your hard work. That being said, let's begin. So while we wait for them to talk, I'll go over the policies. Policies completed are meet the president, increase transparency from weekly press conferences, press notes for the news agencies, improve in-game aspects, holding press conferences in-game. On towns, improve relationships with towns by holding regular meetings, work hand-in-hand to councils to promote Oak Ridge. On elections, increase transparency of the electoral count process, explaining to citizens of Redmont how the electoral process works, promote the hiring of new electoral officers to improve the electoral count process performance. On the DPA, 5th anniversary was all checked out. On DPA's media, increased media production has been checked off. The Department of Commerce, decent DOC employee pay, has been checked off. Restructure of the department payment system checked off. More recruitment in the department. Full analysis of the state of the economy. Increasing accountability on financial institutions. Balanced taxes. Grants to democratically managed companies. And on the DOI, promotions of animal shelter. The development of the National Welfare Office. Hiring more rangers. Create more incentives for rangers to remain in the department. On the Department of Health, hire more doctors. Look for fit qualified individuals to expand the medical council. On diseases, implement new and fun diseases. It was so fun to the point that our last press conference has been terrible and a disaster. But let's not talk over that. Let's just talk over 1950. We're switching to another camera now. Internally, I've told my staff over this, but fuck it, it's the last presidential administration. Sorry, don't mind my words. I apologize. It's just been a wild ride. From the president of 1950, this is it. This is the last press conference of my administration. I would like to thank Jordan for organizing these conferences, and I would like to especially thank the news agencies that have been covering these conferences and keeping us in check, and also to thank every citizen who has been attending them. All right, now let's begin the press conference. I'll continue to talk while he is typing. On the Department of Justice, all I'm going to talk about is all checked. More employees to improve department efficiency, improve teamwork management and supervision, high-level lawyers to ensure the defense of the Commonwealth and responsible use of taxpayer money, department ethics, increase close collaborations with other departments like DHS for prosecution for criminals, increase department activity, address the recent increase in insecurity of Spawn, make a full analysis on the state of security, improve detectives on the department, hire more police officers for towards the creation of a national military that was executed through an executive order. The military should serve only defensive and humanitarian purposes. On DCT deals with the plot crisis. The plot crisis. The Plot Regulations Act has been passed, although with some hiccups. With some hiccups being it deemed unconstitutional but brought back again. I think, in my opinion, it is a monumental bill that could be compared to Obamacare. The situations for the plot crisis is a serious situation that has been handled flawlessly by all across the political spectrum. And I think that although it is a bill full with compromises, I think having that bill, having that one big beautiful bill about plots, I think says a lot about how good our democracy is and how productive our government is. Although I'm oversimplifying because there is parts of the government which is inactive, aka departments. But hope that will be addressed soon. Especially it's summer. People will be out from school and could dedicate more time to this. It was okay. So apparently chat is not on auto scroll. Sorry for that. From the President 1950. So the first topic I want to address is that the heroes from the Department of Health managed to end the pandemic last week, addressing it in a record time. We should all be proud of having them, and I will award them as they deserve. You will know about this later. In terms of election, Aventura had 2 elections happening. Flora won the head of tourism and EB on head of commerce. Congrats on both of them. I think that's it from 1950. I'll just finish this off. We already have 2 departments that he checked off in his personal Google Docs. Lower maximum plots amount. Again, what I said, the bill was full of compromises, but I am glad, again, as a citizen, that I was able to. We as a nation got together to make this bill for our duly elected representatives in Congress, Congress people. Although this was stated lower maximum plots amount to 20 commercial plots, it did not happen. It was 30. But again, what I said. Rework the plot tax system. It has been reworked to the point that, you know, that DC Night segment. Yeah, I'm not going to talk about it. And yes, I apologize. We are going a bit informal here. Okay, I'll read now President 1950. I also made 2 amendments to the executive orders. One is for business and campaign shout-out auctions, so they're a bit more convenient in terms of time organizing. The other one was to the AFCR-EO to adapt it to the recently passed bill regarding the armed forces of the Commonwealth of Redmont. From the President, the DHS has also begun recruitment campaign for the armed forces, so if you're interested, I would like to encourage you to apply. I'll be switching to my feed. And finally, this is all he ticked off. So in the Department of Education, update and keep the various update and keep update the various museums and Redmonts, exhibits of current elected officers. On job guides, make sure all job guides are updated to recent changes. Constant revision of job guides to see what can be improved. There's a lot of checkboxes here that has not been ticked, but there is, I think, the amount of policies that he has here done is much more greater than the ones he did not check. From the president, I am also proud to say that KG was confirmed as Secretary of Health, and he has been doing quite some work to get the department moving. From the president, we also introduced a new way of answering to the approval ratings. You could now answer in game. I think that it is cool and you should try it. From the president, there's also been some events throughout the week organized by the Department of Foreign Affairs. From the president, the Department of Commerce has released a public report on the Vanguard situation, which I think clarifies some questions about said seizure of Vanguard National Bank. Uh, I will give you a brief overview of what happened to Vanguard National Bank. The Department of Commerce seized the Vanguard and mostly of all of its assets due to its shaky financial stability. The full report is on announcements, but in recap, Vanguard had huge losses due to exploits to VMA, and, and to the point that there was a cover up. I guess, for the lack of better words, of a deficit of 14 million. Again, I encourage you to read the whole report from government announcements. I am just mansplaining over here. From the president, there's also been from the president, we will have some news on the Redmond Oak Ridge war soon this week. And from the president, I am also proud to announce that we have finally set up forums for the transcripts of these press conferences so you can all read them at any time. We think that improves the government's transparency. We did not hear that. I'm looking at my Minecraft chat. From the president, for now, we will have the transcripts until mid-April. Transcripts will be uploaded as we get them. The audience is clapping. I would just like to. I would just like to. Vocalize that for you. From the president, we are also now in the Pride Month. Yay, happy Pride. And that's why we have those beautiful LGBT, LTG. Okay, I'm not gonna read that. It's just LGBT. I'm so sorry. LGBTQ banners at the facade of the Brown House. It's a month to remind us of the fight for the LGBTQ rights and that the fight still hasn't finished. I'd just like to remind all that is watching that the audience is clapping as of this moment. From the press conference from the president, and I'm gonna keep it a bit short because this week has many things happen. Had many things happen. I've just been informed that our news has not been released to okay. From the president, the Plot Regulations Act has been passed and the auctions levy tax again. So we have and from the president, and finally we are now on the electoral period for the presidential election. From the 1950, this administration is coming to an end, and with that, a new one arises. The candidates are Kaizen for president and Juniper Fig for vice president, and Bezergeezer for president and Jedi for VP on ticket 2. I've just been informed that our webhooks are not sending through for some reason. It is being pushed out to our main servers, but I think the utilities app is just not working. From the president, soon we will know who our next president will be, and I can only wish that whoever that may be, I wish them the best of luck for their term. Their luck and well-being will be our nation's luck and well-being. And from the president too, make sure to vote. You could vote by doing GPS polls, and that is for today for my last press conference. It has been from the president. It has been a pleasure to serve you all. Thank you for being here, for everything in these 4 months. I just like to clap. And before the president would leave the podium, would play a song. Oh god, it has commentary. That is ruined. From the press advisor, Brian Ton. From the president, now I leave you with the press advisor to answer your questions. From the press advisor, Brian Ton. Thank you, Mr. President. It really was an honor. Buki has raised a question. Ollie46 has also raised a question. Judge Co531 has also raised a question. It goes, the hierarchy will be in that order. It seems that we are not getting our news releases pushed out to the server, unfortunately. However, you could see our news releases being pushed out. We're just experiencing a bit of technical difficulties, but we will come back to the questions. I will read the questions in a bit. Now return. From Luki, how can we trust Kaiserin and Juniper to fix the plot crisis when your term made it worse? From the press advisor's response to the question raised by Luki, I know not the statistics, so I think saying we made it worse isn't really fair. In any case, I am the press advisor for this administration, not the WPR spokesperson. You will have to ask the party leaders or candidates themselves to get a better idea, I suggest. I suggest looking at the electoral platform and how Kaiserin worked her as representative to solve the crisis. Moving on to the next question raised by Ollie. Ollie has deferred their question. The press advisor has now moved to the question from Judge Co531, which is, has the administration inquired at least once about bigger seating? I think I am stuck in my chair right now. Come back to that later. From the press advisor response, hence why we have news agencies to broadcast the press conference so you could watch it from anywhere. Any more questions? Thornton from TPA News would like to raise a question. Thornton was here from TPA News raised a question to the president. What is your plans after this? Hinting about what after your term. From the president, 1950. All right, let me answer. From the president, 1950. Well, essentially, I'll go back to my furniture store to sell handcrafted furniture. I would like to inform the audience that the in-game audience is now clapping. From the president, I do not deny that I might go back to the House of Representatives at some point, or might at some point, or even going back to Oak Ridge. But for now, I'll stick to my furniture store. Our 1350p News would also like to raise another follow-up question. What is your key takeaway from this administration? Curtin was here. Oh, from the president, 1950. Sorry, I did not read that. Now that I have the floor, let me tell you something important, really quick, that I forgot to mention earlier. I've been checking that we have been during this term and the promises we have made in this election. I've offered and I have calculated how many of them have been done. I'm proud to say that 71% of the promises has been kept. I would also like to raise a question too. So a lot is raising questions right now. I will not read the player. I will just read the players in order. So Co531 has raised another question. Mr. Penguin 5665 also raised a question. Ruby Louie, then Louie 55 also raised a question. And from the president, 1950, the 30% of those unfinished were vetoed, and we have not had time to do them. We had some difficulties implementing them, or are currently being developed. From the president, 1950, I yield back to George on. Again, I would like to inform the audience there has been some clapping in the in-game audience. Alright, we'll be back to reading questions. From Ruby Luby 55, this will be one to the president again. From President 1950, go ahead. From Ruby Luby 55, okay, Mr. President, what tip would you give to the next president or administration as takeaway from your administration? From the president's response to that question, to ask and listen as many people and views as possible before making a decision, but especially listening to your consciousness. Also, be well organized. Mr. Penguin 5665 has raised his intent for a question. Co531 will now take the next question from Judge Co531. Do you have any plans to give presidential awards during the final days of your term? Yes, from the president's response to that question, yes, I do. It's one of the things I've been working on in the last couple of days. From the president, 1950, Penguin, go ahead. I will now switch I'll switch now the camera feeds. Just because, for nostalgia, personally. From Mr. Penguin 5665, more of a statement. Thank you for helping me join the WPR. If the president wouldn't been humble, I'd be nowhere further than before. From the president, 1950minecrafter, Penguin. What's your question? So what's your question? Sorry. For a personal quote, I would have loved to go back to the initial position that we had back when TRT was also broadcasting, but before we started this press conference, I had failed to go in this position, as you might remember. But yeah. An addition for the press advisor, 1950 did not hear Penguin's statement because he has left the general channel. I'll reread the question again if after the message was typed. Before that, I will break the conventions of broadcasting the press conference to show you what is normally not seen by the camera, because our cameras is mostly glued to the president and not necessarily the president and the press advisor, but not necessarily the audience. So I would like to give you that for, I think, at least the last time for a while, the press conference, which is very iconic. Very iconic. We just saw someone get shot. Okay. From the President 1950. Anyways, we'll now go back to our initial position. Thank you, Penguin, for those words. From Mr. Penguin, they have raised another question. From the president's response, I'm happy if you have begun feeling a bit more involved in the community. From President 1950, yeah, go ahead. From 1950, anyways, there is no more questions for me. I will yield the floor back to Jonathan. Thank you. The press advisor is absent. I think either absent or I think invisible. Oh, he was murdered. Same old, same old. Same old, same old. From the press advisor, yes, yes, I was shot again. I hate it. And Ollie is officially banned again from the press advisor. Goes like this most of the time, Penguin. Ah, yeah, sorry. But this was response to my question to the press advisor. Any plans if you are not rehired by the next administration? I could hear my knuckles cracking. From the press advisor, I do not have any plans to speak of Jordan. Yes, if I'm not rehired as press secretary, I will take a long vacation and become a dead hunter, going after the terrorists who keep showing up to these conferences. Of course, I will continue writing for the Rebel Times. Disclaimer, the press advisor is an editor for the Rebel Times. Has released multiple opinion and political articles as far as I can remember. In addition to the press advisor response, and maybe run for the Senate or in other way contribute to politics within the Workers' Party of Redmont. I will not read that, even though I've been vulgar. I will not read. It is a bit hypocritical, but I think you could just see chat. Moving on. Turton from TPA News. I was not aware I was holding a weapon. Um, uh, from the press advisor, for me, press conference. So, just an update so we could be bothered and going out of the normal form of broadcasting media for the 2057th time. An invisible man getting escorted out by the police to be arrested for murder and assault. Let's go back to the press conference. From the press advisor, as I was saying, the press conferences honestly are a target of constant terrorist attacks. Despite all precautions, almost every time there is a murder or an attack in the press conferences. We have asked staff to make this a non-PvP zone. They agreed, but haven't gotten around to do it after a month. So IMO, I do not know what IMO means. Another invisible assailant is now throwing off leads. Invisible assailant once again being cuffed and handled by police. From Press Advisor, that's all I have to say. From the President answering to that same question raised by me, Torton from TPA News. From the President 1950, for me, even though there are these constant attacks to the conferences, as the press advisor said, I consider these press conferences essential to keep the government in check. It is a way from the president. It is a way for the government to become transparent and for the citizens of the press to ask government. So I think they are positive. They are positive and strengthens our democracy. Back to the press advisor. Oops, sorry about that. Uh, I think we are about done here. Thank you for attending and goodbye. So, I think before we go here, um, there is a bit of a party going on, unfortunately. Everyone is levitating, but I would like to say it has been quite a ride. I'd like to extend my greatest, personally, as both the editor-in-chief of TPA News and as simply a journalist. Would like to reach my greatest and deepest appreciation to, again, 1950 and 1950 and the press advisor Jontron for holding press conferences like these. As I said, without press conferences like these, TPA News will not exist. And thank you, I guess. From how it sounds, from how I'm speaking right now, it sounds like this will be the last press conference that people will ever see. But who knows? Both candidates have expressed their interest to continue these press conferences, but only time will tell. But there's one thing for certain. It is definitely an end of an era. End of an era of a 1950 administration. End of an era where end of an era of press conferences. And I think, personally, as a personal anecdote, I think this has been quite a fun ride. Just to reflect. It has been a wild ride. Again, as a personal anecdote, I've joined this server 4 months ago. Back in, I think, January or February of 2025. After watching Trolligarch's video about virtual democracies. So technically, I'm part of the Trolligarch wave. And it has been, in my experience here in the server, has been a lot of things. Happy, sad, like this one, angry, funny, and this goes the same to press conferences. We have been through a lot. We had a pandemic going through and had no offense to everyone involved, including me, one of the most chaotic broadcasts of TPA with our pandemic coverage. Our constant and the constant battle of terrorism in press conferences. Our camera, me getting shot, interrupting press conferences. That one time where everything just went all crazy and bazooka to the point that the press conference had to end early, and 1950 had committed a great scalding to the Yeats. That was fun. I think I'm circling back to the background. TPA News was started back when I was in desperate need to find an article to write about, because back then I did not have a single idea of Redmont's politics. I only know there was four parties. One is Star Wars themed, one is I don't know, one is far right. From the time, that's how I interpreted it. When one is far left. But as I continued to become part of this community, it was definitely not the way I interpreted it to be at first. And I would just say to everyone at the TPA newsroom, current and former, that I am proud of you. to people to our writers at our journalism team, constantly writing live articles. Sorry, I'm having a conversation from 1950. From 1950, well, that was the last live press conference with us. I will just respond. Um, I'll continue my comment on TPA to everyone on the TPA newsroom, current and former and temp and currently sort of employed. You know who you are. Thank you for being with us. Thank you for being with me in establishing this news organization. It has been quite a journey for all of us here at TPA, from Representative Rora and Ivy, um, in our digital media gathering team, from Emily, who's been the one who's checking and editing our articles to make sure it is up to journalistic standards. PS2, even though you are not active anymore, I would like to reach out and give thanks to you, because without you, I think TPA News will just continue to have broadcasted for a long, long while. We have definitely would have not expanded to live articles or to election coverage, presidential interviews. I don't think we would have gone our ways and lengths through that. I think we would have just focused on National Bookstore. I've mostly forgotten about National Bookstore too. So yeah. It has been quite a fun ride. Everyone has been involved. From these press conferences to TPA News to everyone who is watching TPA News. I would like to give you my thanks. And to our donators too. I'll just give them, it's just two people. I'd like to thank Toads for giving us a huge donation, and will definitely be used for our journalistic operations. I'd also like to thank the Department of Commerce for giving us that grant, although I did do some hiccup on that. Although I did do a bit of a oopsie with my reporting. Don't worry, DOC, I will report soon. We've just been focusing on media content, so I couldn't really report anything because that was out of my intended purpose. Again, thank you so much to everyone involved. And that will be all for me. We'll have a special broadcast after the polls have closed. We've already consulted with an advertisement agency to spread it out to the masses, so stay tuned about that. New website drop, even though I was kind of late to start it. I started like yesterday, and I have been pulling all-nighters to finish the website I'm working on. It will be announced. I just have to manage to getting it live online. My name is Torton, and I think my name is Short, and I think at least for a while that will be all for me and the TPA News crew for today. My name is Jordan. TPA News. Have a good night.